concerns over U.S. involvement in Ukraine's peace process, the French President Emmanuel Macron has called for an emergency meeting of European leaders. The urgent gathering, planned for today, comes at a time when the U.S. President Donald Trump has been seeking control of peace talks with Russia, potentially sidelining European countries. Now, key topics of the high-level EU meeting include how to ensure Europe's participation in shaping Ukraine's future security arrangements and NATO membership. There's also concern about America's separate talks with Russia, which could exclude Ukraine from crucial discussions. Now, Trump's outreach to Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has raised alarm, especially since Ukraine has not been invited to talks between the United States and Russia. Zelensky has warned that Europe risks being left out of the decision-making process, urging for a European army that could play a central role in Ukraine's security. And the end of the Russia-Ukraine war may be on the horizon, with U.S. President Donald Trump strongly advocating for peace. However, the Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has highlighted the urgent need for armed forces of Europe. He argued that the ongoing conflict with Russia has proven Europe's military independence is not just a concept, but a critical necessity. While European leaders have long debated this idea, Ukraine's three-year war has made its importance undeniable.
Let's be honest, now we can't rule out the possibility that America might say no to Europe on issues that threaten it. Many leaders have talked about Europe that needs its own military, an army of Europe. And I really believe that time has come. The armed forces of Europe must be created.
And Zelensky also stressed that no peace talks regarding the war should take place without Ukraine's involvement. He expressed concern over the U.S. and Russia meeting to discuss peace without Kyiv at the table, emphasizing the need for Europe to have a direct role in the negotiations.
Для нас пріоритет Україна, Америка, і тільки після таких зустрічей, після напрацювання плану, як зупинити Путіна, я вважаю справедливо тоді вже говорити з русскими. І для нас також дуже важливо, сьогодні ще це не звучить, але ми знаємо сигнали від європейців, так. І вони знають моє відношення. Я вважаю, що за столом перемовин повинні бути і європейці, бо ми є частиною Європи, і ми будемо обов'язково членами Європейського Союзу. Для нас важливо, вони дуже багато допомогли.
And as the U.S. considers the possibility of peace talks, Zelensky remains cautious. Despite reassurances that Ukraine would be included, he remains skeptical of any potential agreements made without Ukraine's direct participation, insisting that any deal must serve Ukraine's interests and not Russia's.
President Trump and President Putin have spoken, and they have talked about peace. They have talked about a ceasefire. But what Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the Ukrainian president, has said is very clear. He says that if you're looking at a peace process, Ukraine, basically Kiev, has to be involved. Because at this point, the war has lasted for quite a while, over 1,000 days, and Russia still controls a considerable chunk of Ukrainian territory. On the other hand, Ukraine also controls a little bit of Russian territory. That is mostly near the Kursk region. But the point is that there have been huge casualties on both sides, possibly more on the Russian side. But nevertheless, Russia has been making advances into Ukraine in recent weeks and months. The point now is, if the war has to end, if there has to be a ceasefire just now, then Russia would be holding on to a lot of Ukrainian territory, is Zelensky's argument, which is why he wants, or his country wants, to be part of the peace process. He does not want Ukraine to be left out of the peace process.